Network released a report titled Scenarios for the Future of Technology and International Development, which included 4 future scenarios detailing a sorted mix of positive and negative world changes to test the adaptability of the human race. The CEO of the Rockefeller Foundation at the time was Judith Rodin, a Jesuit-educated philanthropist who previously had involvement in healthcare, higher education, telecommunication corporations, and banking and financial risk management, a pretty broad spectrum for one person. She also served on the board for BlackRock, which has been in the news lately, being called the 4th branch of government and being in charge of managing the Federal Reserve under the Trump presidency. The founder of the Global Business Network, Peter Schwartz, is an American futurist and scenario planner. He is best known for being the author of the discredited 2004 Pentagon Climate Change Report that warned all of Europe that they would be underwater by 2020. The participants in the Rockefeller Project created 2 critical uncertainties based on conflict in the world: economic and political crisis, and adaptive capability. These uncertainties will gauge how the powers that be can find solutions to global problems while proactively managing their existing structures to adapt to shock. The report then reads, "We now invite you to immerse yourself in each future world and consider 4 different visions for the evolution of technology and international development to 2030. The 4 imagined scenarios created by the group are lockstep, clever together, hack attack, and smart scramble. Scenario 1 is lockstep, which describes a worldwide pandemic leading to international economic failures and oppressive authoritarian controls. They also talk about the downsides to rising nationalism, gaining wide acceptance and approval for giving up their sovereignty in exchange for safety and security. The creepiest part of this scenario is at the end, and it reads, "By 2025, people seem to be growing weary of so much control, they start letting leaders make choices for them." As I was reading about this step, I was imagining COVID-19, the quarantine, forced masks, social distancing, and worldwide depression. Scenario 2 is clever together, which describes a world in which highly coordinated strategies emerge to address urgent worldwide issues. They went into detail about vaccine strategy and the vaccinations that are coming. Scenario 3 is hack attack, which describes an economically unstable and shock-prone world in which governments weaken, criminals thrive, and dangerous innovations emerge. As I was reading about hack attack, I thought about Black Lives Matter, statues being torn down, George Floyd, Antifa, the riots, prisoners being released from prisons nationwide, and the destruction of our great cities. Scenario 4 is smart scramble, which describes an economically depressed world in which individuals and communities developed localized makeshift solutions to a growing set of problems. As I was reading this scenario, I thought about homeschooling, the new normal propaganda, supply chain issues, and the closing of small business. I'd like to point out that the report encourages the world. The RAND Corporation CEO is Michael Rich, a member of the Council on Foreign Relations with a heavy government and intel background. The RAND Corporation has their tentacles in education, economics, geopolitics, and science. I found this report to be so incredibly alarming because I realized that these 4 scenarios are playing out simultaneously right now in 2020. We are now halfway through 2020 and everything is still so confusing. Last week, masks were mandated, but now big box stores are pulling back because there is money to be lost from the maskless shoppers. So now they don't want to play mask police anymore. But now those of us who don't like to wear the slave mask have to deal with the shame from the people who wear the slave mask. There has been violence and murder over this. These officials either can't make up their minds, or this is just one big guessing game, or they are playing with us to see how we respond and adapt to these constant changes. But the changes are so rapid. The news cycle is so fast these days you can't even keep up. The Pentagon released that they have found off-world vehicles, and no one blinked an eye. So what is this all about? Are we living out the Rockefeller scenarios? It would seem that way after reading this creepy report. Some say this is about saving the children. Others say this is about economic collapse and a cashless society. Some say this is about a one-world Luciferian religion. Others say this is about the election. All I know is conspiracy theory was a lot more fun when I wasn't actually living through it. I have no clue what is going on, but I do know 2020 just gets weirder by the day.